in 98 and then expires in 2024. So in general, the rule is we just have to have it programmed where the money will be spent. It doesn't have to actually be spent.
Ryan, had you graduated by then?
98?
1990. When had you graduated?
You were closer with the 98. I had something brought up even today. There's been a lot of discussion about the pool. Would it be even worth looking at maybe what a bubble would cost to at least do the lap pool? Or if it's not feasible, then at least we'll know it's not feasible instead of it always getting brought up.
That actually came up in our staff meeting today, and the Parks and Recreation Director
Had the
was,
discussion with me today too.
what?
I said that may have been one of the people that had the discussions with me today too.
It could be. So our Parks and Rec Director is not in favor of that whole concept, more from an operational standpoint. And because of the additional cost that would be incurred in operating a pool throughout more months of the year, she doesn't feel like we would be able to generate enough revenue to justify keeping the pool open during those months. But that doesn't mean we can't look into it further and explore the idea. If you feel like it's worth exploring, then we will explore it.
I think we should.
I think we should at least see what the cost would be,
Yeah, I think we should.
because we hear that all the time.
Mhm.
But then we have good reason if we don't do it.
Yeah, I guess we'd have something to hold on to.
Yeah, we could probably come back with some information about what the bubble would cost, what the staffing requirements would be. Obviously, we wouldn't have as many staff on, and then maybe what hours might look like. Most of our lifeguards are still in high school, so it'd be hard to keep them running, but they might be able to do 3 to 8 or something like that. Anyways, we'll bring back as much information as we can, and then at the next discussion, you can say, hey, what about this? And we'll keep getting more.
Other ideas from the council you'd like?
Are there any ideas you don't like that we could just kind of
Could you
take
pull up
off the
the map
list?
again of where the RDA is and is any of this area right here in the RDA? And the reason I'm asking is, could that RDA money go towards the new police station in any way that we talked about?
The chief asked about that. Typically, it has to be something that benefits the area, and a new police station doesn't typically draw in additional customers.
Not wanted
Of a
ones.
sort.
So there have been cities that tried to, I don't want to say cross the line, but push the line. And I think that a police station might be that way, but we could also reach out to some of those who are more informed about what the 1990 law said and see if that could happen.
Is this area part of the RDA?
No, so we are sitting, if you can see, we're right here.
Okay.
The wetlands that we're talking about is right here behind this commercial piece. So it's technically outside of the RDA boundary.
And yes, for what I'm not in favor of moving wetlands. I've just heard it's never a good idea to move. Water always finds its way back to where it came from.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
That's what we're looking for. Ideas, opinions.
So the senior center, based on what I can see, it's not part of the RDA either.
No.
Okay.
So the question, council, piggybacking on what you said, Councilman Barker, would you want us to explore any improvements to that area to make it a more, available for people to at least see instead of 6 foot tall grass everywhere? Or what? I mean,
Open it up to hunting?
Boardwalk through.
We do have a trail real close to it, so.
yeah, the trail runs along the canal and goes right past it. There is already a connection between this road and the Smith's parking lot via trail, so there's not, anyways, but
Maybe a boardwalk or something through it.
that just, I don't know, I mean,
Yeah.
we could take it off the, I mean, I think, I would hesitate to take anything off the table at this point, but I think it's good to add things. Understanding, obviously, I think, as Evan mentioned, we've started a multi-year process.
You know, John Laurel Fawson mentioned that ground that is south of the Senior Citizen Center for pickleball courts. Would that be,
So that's right over here in this area. It's not in the RDA.
it's not in the RDA, okay.
But if you can tie a correlation, so if you can show that there's a reason to do it, a reason that it benefits the RDA area, then you can do the project. But it's not. You just have to show your work.
Okay.
Go back to math class and show your work and prove why it benefits the area.
Okay.
In other words, we could build the police station in the RDA area. Okay.
I'd also be in favor of seeing what, burying the power lines, that
Take some of that money, put it towards.
bring in some, help bring in
We were improving
more
that building,
business.
hadn't that helping the building?
Have we ever received numbers on what that would possibly cost?
So it was listed as a potential project in the community, in the CDA area, at $3 million. And that was a rough estimate that Rocky Mountain Power gave us for from 1,500 all the way here to 2,600. That's what here means.
I'd like to see some type of schematic on what to do with Bicentennial Park. And possibly tie that into somehow I wasn't here last council meeting, but the monument out here, I don't see why that wouldn't, if we're doing something Bicentennial Park and taking the veterans' names off there and putting it on the wall out here that we talked about, the Gold Star wall or whatever, or doing something like that to make, and see, I can see how that could tie into the RDA, and even though this isn't part of the RDA area, but you know what I mean? And then thing with the Bicentennial Park, if we hurry on it, maybe we can get Robert Redford to dedicate it again.
I was just thinking that.
Do you remember that?
Well, so, yeah, I think those are good things to explore. I think we just, would explore that type of stuff.
When you say schematic, are you talking about hiring a professional to draw something, or
Well,
or
you
just
said
some?
that there were some ideas. First off, let's see some ideas. I don't think we need to hire an architect yet.
Ask Kai, he can do it.
Just get some.
Okay.
This is kind of our conceptual, and let we can talk about it and see what we want to do there. And I hadn't even considered bringing the elevation up, and in my head and stuff. And
In other words, we don't want to spend money on a site plan.
no, but we just get an idea of
So Kai could do something like that.
what we want to change on it.
Yeah, the
know?
Parks Department has some pretty good talent in that area too.
I mean, I think that's an area that's underutilized, and it could be, did they use RDA fund when they moved the stump? Do you know?
I believe it was part of the RDA, so that the whole Lee's Plaza was kind of the main project for the RDA area. And so the stump, and that says, yes, it was part of the project.
John, one of the presentations that we attended down at ULCT was the idea of value that cities are sitting on in vacant land that could be commercial use or whatever. I'm talking about the old Public Works site. Could some of the RDA funds be used to prepare that site for sale as a commercial site?
So that area is in the CDA, and so there are CDA funds available. In fact, I believe $150,000 was budgeted as kind of this is one of the projects we'd spend money on to prepare that site for redevelopment.
Other items?
Evan, did you put down on the wetlands to see just ideas of improvement on it?
Nope, but I can.
I'd like to see some ideas on that.
Okay.
Well, council, I think that this is something we need to be thinking about now. We've generated some thoughts this evening that's come across from Evan, but we need to continue to explore opportunities over the next while to plan ahead for the use of these funds so that they don't expire on us, so to speak. Yes.
I just had one other thought. I doubt that IHC is going to want to get rid of that parcel of land. I've heard talk over the years that they plan on a small regional hospital there or something along those lines. Could we use the RDA funds, though, to improve that trail that goes around it? Right now, it's just a road base trail. Could
The
we
walking
pave it?
path
Could we
there?
put some exercise stations along it? Things that would make it more usable for moms in strollers and
On bikes.
kids on bikes and things like that.
Definitely.
Do we look into that as well? Just add that to the list?
Yes.
I think that fits well. Anything else? Okay, we'll keep generating that list, and thank you, Evan, for your presentation. And you can look at what he's provided for you, and then come up with other ideas as we move along.
Bless you.
And I would also just say, if the public have comments during public comments, they can make their opinions known.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comments. We'd welcome any comments from the public at this time.
Frank here, 1785, 225 North. I just have one question on the basin property for sale. You kept talking about if we sell it, we let the person that buys it, the company that buys it, do what they want with it. And right now it's R20, you said, Jonathan, I believe?
Yes.
Is there any way we can get that changed to commercial before we sell it, designated as commercial, so when they come in, they know it's commercial property?
It would if the planning commission was amenable and the council was, it would be, it would take 3 or 4 weeks to do.
It'd just help out, because that's one of the reasons the pond is being moved, because that's commercial property. And if we can get it designated prior to the sale, so when they come in, they know it's commercial property and that's what it's for.
Thank you for your comment.
Randy Wynn, 2412 Barker Parkway. I agree with Frank on that. But I was also looking at the list that Evan put out here. I would like to see the wetlands move, but I kind of think that Ryan is right about that. I don't think that we should spend money on improving the Bicentennial Park. I think it's fine. Landscaping behind Lee's should be continued, because you were almost ready to do it anyway. The Aquatic Center, I think, is fine the way it is. Streetscape, I don't know about that. Development behind the IHC, I think we should leave alone, and Phil probably has the right information on that too. Burying the Washington Boulevard power lines would be nice, but I wouldn't want to see us spend the whole wad on that. And I think the first priority for me would be the redevelopment of Kings Plaza. Just things that came to my mind. Thank you.
Thank you for your suggestions.
Melanie Barker, 2524 Barker Parkway. I know you get tired of me, and I'm sorry about that. 20 years ago, when my in-laws sold the property to the city, before they ever sold it to the city had a design for the park. That's why we chose the lot where we did and to move there, because we knew that there would be nothing like an amphitheater there, other than a teeny tiny one for teaching. It's ironic that the city came to the Barker family to have a Barker Park committee to design a Barker Park. It was approved by the council. There are council notes for everything they did. But isn't it ironic that the committee that the mayor sat on and council members sat on, there's not a note about anything to do with the amphitheater. What a shame.
Thank you for your comment.
Brenda Ashdown, 193 East Pleasant View Drive. I have a question, and I don't know if this is appropriate time or if it would be better to just talk to you individually. These RDA funds, I'm curious as to why, if IHC owns the property behind them, why is the city spending money to make that better? So does that mean if I don't take care of my pasture and somebody doesn't like it, then the city's gonna come in and take care of my pasture? I don't understand. I'm not trying to be funny or rude. I just don't understand it. And the same with like the King's Plaza. Isn't that owned by developers or by people who own those buildings? Why is the city spending the money to make that nicer when they're making money off of the taxpayers anyway? I mean, I have to pay for my own house taxes and nobody comes in and helps me roof my house. So I'm afraid I don't understand that. The same with the faucets, the fronting down here at this other one's. Why is that a city project and not a project of the people who, either the developer or the people who own the building?
I think partial answer to your question, I would just throw this out. For instance, not King Smith's, there was some money expended there to help put that all together, and now it's returned tenfold, 100-fold, I don't know what it is, in taxes back to the city. Some of those things could be done at the King's Plaza as well. That would be my input.
I know over here with the Smith Strip Mall still, it was a lot of vacant buildings before they redid the facade, and now they're almost all filled up. So by putting some RDA funds into it, it actually brings more business in. So you're kind of using funds to actually generate more funds.
It's to benefit the city as a whole.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other comments, we'll move on the agenda. Item 6 is council, mayor, staff comments. Councilman Turner?
I don't have any yet.
Okay. Councilman Severie?
I will just say that I got a text today from Laurie Haynes, and she was really, really happy that the Public Works took care of that area on Fruitland Drive and Mountain Road so that they could see better at the stop sign. She was very happy, so thank you.
Yeah, I was going to mention the Public Works went up there and took care of that. It was brought up in this meeting here. They responded and took care of the problem there, and so we appreciate what the Public Works.
Yep, very much appreciate that.
Thank you. Councilman Swanson?
Nope.
Councilwoman Stoker?
No.
John?
Council, we were planning on burning the pit today through tomorrow, but it was too wet and would have created a bunch of smoke, so our plan is now for next week. We don't think we'll have rain between now and then. Ryan, I'm sure, knows more about it since he's the fire marshal. Also, don't forget the trunk or treat on the 28th for the council participation. I'm sure you've been designing your trunks, and that's good, or that's great. Another thing that you might, they're finishing up the landscaping up at the skate park, but the sidewalk around it is in, so it's worth going up and taking a look at it. For those of you who enjoy running, the Glow Run is happening on the 25th of this month. If you don't know what that is, it's a nighttime run where you use flashlights and things, and it's a fun time for. I guess it's as fun as a run can be. Is that the right way to say it, Cheryl? But it's a good time, and It's a little different than what a lot of people do. It's just a 5K, but it's a fun time, and you get a fun shirt, and
And there's no buffalo to get you.
there's no buffalo to get you. And then just one final thought on this whole RDA discussion. One of the things we really like about the department heads and even our departments in general is they don't pigeonhole themselves into one area. Evan had a question or an idea, and it spurred it into a bigger project. One of our police officers is the sprinkler break finder of the city. He's constantly, whenever he sees an issue, lets Parks know. He doesn't. We have a good group of employees that they don't just drive by problems if it's something the city can fix. Granted, we can't fix everything in the city, but like sprinklers, they'll send a picture and give a location, and then we can get out and get it fixed. I actually think it's more fun to just send the parks a picture of it and say, okay, this is broken, now find out where it is. But Jesse doesn't think that's as fun as I do. So, but anyways, we just have a really good group of employees, and there's no competition between them, except maybe at budget time, but the rest of the year, they all really pitch in together, and it's a good team, so.
Thank you. Annette?
Just a reminder, there's 35 days until election, and ballots will go out October 15th.
Okay. Thank you. Exercise your right to vote.
Yes, do.
Evan, you have anything additional? Thank you for your presentation this evening. And appreciate everybody being here. Your input, your suggestions are very valuable to us, so thank you. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made to adjourn.
Second.
It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.